Alright everybody, Marcus Hain back here, Poker Strategies, the course, how I make $5,000 plus per month playing cash games. This is section 1, which has been the introduction, and for most of you guys, you're going to be very happy to know this is the last lesson of this section, so we're kind of going to be done with the introduction, and we're going to really jump into some of the concepts and techniques that I promised I'm going to share with you guys so that you guys can be profitable. But for the last lesson, this is lesson number 6, and this is all about where to play poker. So in this lesson, I'm basically going to share with you guys the different places that you guys can actually play poker and how you guys can basically get action and find tables and all that stuff to your convenience. So the easiest place to play is obviously the local casinos in your area. So if you have a casino that's close to your house or in your area, that's obviously the number one and best option there. The second best or easiest place to play is probably like the house games if you have friends or family members or anyone like that that puts together house games and probably plays for some amount of money. Or the third option would be cash games or poker tournaments that are locally available. There are sometimes meetups and different events and different things that are happening, charity events, whatever the case is, where you guys can really play some tournaments and cash games and stuff like that. But as mentioned, local casinos are your best bet for in terms of being profitable. I usually try to avoid house games, especially if it's with friends and family members, because you can only win so much money off of them without feeling terrible. So now we're going to discuss some of the online options. So like I said, recently I've been playing online and on these international websites where I get cashed out, I make my profits and everything like that. So online poker has been banned in the USA. There's lots of legislation and bills that are possibly in the works to hopefully make it legal with the proper taxation, but there's no guarantees or promises for this. But there are numerous online sites that you can play at, and I'm going to share a few of these sites with you guys. The first site is known as Bovada.lv. So I play on this site as well. It's a safe site, lots of other poker players, tons of fishes, and it's very easy to deposit and cash out your money. So it's definitely a good option, and they send you a check in the mail with whatever amount of money that you make. And from there, you can basically deposit it to your bank account or whatever the case is, and they're very fair, and they paid me out numerous times, so I really trust this website, and I highly recommend it because there's lots of players and tons of fishes. The next site is also another site that I also do play on, which is known as carbonpoker.ag. It's a safe site, lots of poker players. The only difference with this site compared to the Bovada is that there's a lot more professionals on this site in comparison to the tons of fishes that are on the other site. But the great thing with this site is it's very easy to deposit and cash out. You just need a debit or credit card, and you can really deposit funds in and out. The only other downfall of this site is that cash outs take a bit longer to process than Bovada does, especially if you're in the USA. It'll take maybe a few more weeks longer than usual, but they do pay out, and I have received numerous payouts from these guys. And lastly, some other options. So there's lots of other options. My best recommendation for you guys is to read forums, do your research, and talk to these websites before joining. So there's lots of other online poker sites and stuff like that out there. These two, like I said, are my favorites and the ones that I use, but that's not to say that there isn't many other sites out there. There might even be better options. I just feel comfortable and have had successful cash outs with these sites, so I kind of stick with them, especially because I've got a lot of money in these sites. Just remember that everything that you do is at your own discretion, so be very careful. So even like with the sites that I mentioned and stuff like that, I'm not an affiliate, I have no ownership stake or anything like that. I just have played on these sites personally, and they've worked well for me, but if something goes wrong for you, just remember it's at your own discretion. So do your own due diligence, be very careful, start off small, do one withdrawal, get one check, deposit it, make sure all that stuff is going well and smooth before you really start depositing a lot of money into these sites. But other than that, that's it for this section. I'll catch you guys in the next one.